Today we are joined by Cyndi Alba, one half of the Austin-based duo Timeless ATX. Alongside her husband Joey, Cyndi has created a unique musical partnership that blends heartfelt songwriting, soaring harmonies, and a love for connecting with audiences across Central Texas. But beyond the stage, Cyndi brings her own voice and vision to the duo, with roots in creative writing and a deep appreciation for lyrical storytelling. From local cafes to full band performances, Timeless ATX is known for putting their own spin on everything from jazz standards to modern pop, and Cyndi's right at the heart of it. Please help me welcome Cyndi Alba. So let's get to it.
Sure.
What inspired you to pursue music?
I don't know that I was necessarily inspired to pursue it as much as that's just what I was always gonna do. When I was a little kid and, you sit out on your little table and you watercolor and you crayon, I was always designing my album covers. That's just what you do. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's drawing whatever, horses and giraffes, and I'm like, "Oh, no, not unless they're going on my album cover." And, I didn't know what my stage name would be. So I would make up random names and make up random fonts for these random names. And yeah, I did that until, you quit playing with crayons and watercolors.
And then you move on to something else.
Yeah.
Who are your biggest musical influences?
I like the big power singer ladies, Barbara Streisand, Linda Ronstadt, obviously Whitney Houston, but she came around, I'd say when I was in college, like I became aware of her. So I didn't grow up going, I need to sound like that. But my mother had a really extensive record collection, a lot of folk, a lot of Simon and Garfunkel type harmony bands. And I just always listened to that kind of stuff and emulated the parts that I heard. And, by the time I was in high school, I think I just kind of claimed all of the records and just they lived in my room. We didn't know the term latchkey kid at the time, but that's what I was. So I'd get home from school and I could sing really loud for a couple hours before anybody noticed. And so
So
that's kind of what I did, 12, 13, whatever age, just turning the records on as loud as I could, singing as loud as I could, learning all the parts on all the songs. And yeah, just making a lot of noise. And then, oh wait, 4:30, my parents are almost here. Turn the record down, But yeah,
clean your
that's
room, quick.
yeah, exactly. Do homework suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I was one of those kids too then.
Yeah.
Very cool. How has your background or upbringing shaped your sound?
I mean, I'm a Texas girl. I'm from Texas. My speaking voice is very Texan. So I was destined for country music just by default. I could sing a jazz song with jazz arrangements, but I come out with this hick voice. It was going to be country. And then I started playing guitar probably in my 20s, and I didn't realize I was holding it upside down. So when I would strum down, which is the normal motion, it sounded like an up strum, which is a very country technique. So people who would hear me, I'd be going down, pause, and they would hear up, pause, up, pause. And to the listener, well, again, she's got an accent and she's doing up strum. She must be country.
Right.
So that wasn't necessarily my flavor and necessarily the direction I wanted to go, but it lent itself to that. So I would say my upbringing kind of led the way. And again, I had a lot of country music records and tapes and CDs. Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's fascinating. Do you
Yeah,
have
I
a
didn't
favorite?
realize it was upside down until I knew enough chords and had been playing on my couch for a few years. And by then it was like, well, I can't relearn this. I'm just let
Right.
me roll with what I've got.
So you play now
Oh yeah,
upside down.
absolutely.
Oh, how fascinating.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had ended up getting one custom made because the tuner was always on my knee. And somebody'd say, "Are you in tune?" Well, let me flip it upside down and check the tuner.
Yeah.
And then so I had one custom made with the tuner on top because the way I hold it, my pinky is on the bass string and my thumb is on the high pitch string. So I needed one that, with the trusses and all the guts of the guitar set up that way. And the pick
Oh,
guard to
wow.
be where I wanted it. So yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through your songwriting process?
Yeah. So mostly I start with the lyrics. I'll get an idea of a song and I had a lot of poetry in high school and college, and I'll just kind of come at it from a poetic perspective, but very conscious of meter. Da 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 da, and I'll
Yes.
clap as I'm writing it. I'll clap and say, "Okay, does this fit the beat? Is this 3/4? Is it 4/4?" And I'll sing it. But then once I have it grounded and I can sing it in the car, I can sing it in the shower. That's typically when I grab the guitar and say, "Now, how does it really go?" And sometimes just grabbing the guitar will change the nuances a little bit. And then when I married Joey, Joey's a very good guitar player and a composer of things that I would never know how to compose. And so I'll sing it to him and I'll say, "Here's how it goes." And he'll say, "Well, let's move this chord differently than what you originally think it's going to do. And let's move this chord over here and flip flop some things around." And it's so much better. So I just kind of, at this point, sometimes I'll just email him the lyrics and say, "Here's the lyrics, write the chords." And he'll say, "Well, come over and sing it to me. Sing me 2 lines." And I'll
Yeah.
sing him 2 lines. He's like, "Okay, got it." And he'll finish it. And
Oh,
sometimes I'll come back, I'll say, "Well, that's too high or that's too low or that doesn't sound like my phrasing."
right.
Because he's coming at it from the mechanics of the instrument and not necessarily the natural flow of human language. So it's
Gotcha.
it's an interesting it's a really interesting mix working with him.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds fascinating
Yeah.
because he kind of helps you fill in the gaps and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
wonderful. He can make the sounds in your head become real.
He has his own sounds in his own head that are so much better than what I'm hearing
Okay.
because I'm hearing a chord that is very common and he's hearing chords that are not that common. And he's hearing chords that don't necessarily go together in a time signature or a key or something.
Right.
And I would never, just me personally, if I'm doing a song in the key of C, it's going to have these chords and only these chords. And he's like, "Why would you do that? Just because you're playing a C more than the rest, you have the whole alphabet to fall from."
Oh,
So it's interesting because he breaks the rules, but there's it for a reason, and it's great.
yeah, it works. Oh, wow. How do you decide which songs make it onto an album?
That's the thing. We just did an EP and we had probably 15 songs to pick from, and we put three. And out of those three, it's like, okay, well, how did we pick those three? One of them, really, he picked them, but one of them was predominantly me on the vocals, but he had some really intricate, cool guitar stuff. It's a song called Butterflies. And when I wrote it, I told him, "I don't know how to flutter, but I need you on the guitar to flutter and sound like a butterfly in flight. So whatever you have to do conceptually to make that happen." So he fluttered. And so we put that on the album because it absolutely sounds like it. And when we do it live, you could tell it's about a butterfly. It just sounds fluttery. And we don't know what that means, but tangibly, we can hear it.
Yeah.
And then it's funny when we recorded it, we had a producer and the whole studio people and, pull out your Rolodex and bring everybody in and we'll keep what we keep. And he brought in a violinist and he brought in an accordion player and a pianist. And we said, "Well, let's see who flutters."
Yeah.
And the net result was we went with the violin. Violin, no, 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 I'm sorry. We went with accordion. We went with accordion and guitar. And when you hear it, you're like, "It totally sounds like butterflies." But I don't know. Conceptually, I couldn't have done that. It
Yeah.
would have sounded like a country song. It would have sounded like everybody else's music. It never would have fluttered if it was me left alone to my devices.
Yeah.
So that was we picked that song because it was so cool.
Yeah.
We picked another song that had weird chording. My husband learned this trick where you can put the capo on half the guitar as opposed to retuning certain strings and jumping
Uh-huh.
around. So you get this weird sound that it sounds like alternate tuning, but it's just capo on half the guitar. So
Huh.
only half of the guitar is in a different key. Anyway, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I know, but I can't
Yeah.
explain it sonically. It just sounds very cool.
Yeah.
So we put that one on because it sounded very cool. And then we put another one on that was a love song it was a duet between the two of us. And we're like, "Oh, we need to put a sweet love song on there. So let's put this one on." Um, but next time we're throwing the nickel down and going back to the studio, um, we're having, we're gonna have different songs, obviously, but the songs we're choosing next time, we have one that I wrote as a writing exercise. The exercise was if the walls could, well, the exercise I gave myself, if the walls could talk, what would they say? And I was like, okay, if they're going to say girl needs to do laundry, girl needs to vacuum, like my walls are not talking. We're not doing this.
No.
So I started thinking about a cathedral walls because everything in a cathedral is beautiful. So if cathedral walls would talk, what would they say? And it was, the people are dressed up, the old man's getting old, the baby came back, and now the baby's a bride, and just different things that the windows broke during the storm, but the men with ladders came, and what the cathedral walls would say. So that
Yeah.
one, when we play it live, the crowd gets really quiet and they just kind of go, ooh.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we got to put that one on the album. So I guess yeah, that's how we would pick songs to be on audience response when we play live shows. Probably is that was the long answer.
Well, no, it makes perfect sense though. It makes perfect sense. I mean, because why would you put something on there that everybody's just like, oh, yawn about?
Yeah, I mean we have those songs. We have the 3 chord songs you can write that sound very, I don't know if childlike is the word, but very basic.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cute and they're fun, but if you're throwing money out there, you would invest in higher quality stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any rituals or habits that help you stay creative?
Just pay attention to language. When I'm at a restaurant, I eavesdrop. Um, because people will say really cool things. And in
Mm-hmm.
movies, a lot of times, I'm like, okay, well, a movie is a script that's kind of copyrighted, but maybe what they're saying, maybe those exact words would be copyrighted, but not the concept of what they're talking about.
Right.
So, yeah, and I'll also look for plays on words, like oh, I can't think of one. I had one like an hour ago. I was like, I'm gonna remember this when she asks me. But yeah, just plays on words of different perspective. Like I have a friend who wrote a song called "You Double Crossed My Mind." I thought of you, and then I thought of you again. Dadgummit, you double crossed my mind. And I was like,
That's
okay,
clever.
that's very clever. Um, Wake Eastman. So in case anybody needs to, he's an amazing songwriter. But yeah, I look for turns of phrase that maybe the word is not what you're expecting it to be. Oh, I have a song called "Boy Next Door," and you think, oh, it's about falling in love with the boy next door, but it's actually not. It's about being a mentor to somebody else's child. And it's funny because when we bought a house, there was a boy next door who was in 8th grade and he was learning to play trombone. And we hear this, burr, 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 at night because he's learning to play trombone. And so I put that in the song. And my husband's going, "Why are you writing a song about that kid?" I was like, "Oh, it's not about him. It's just about the concept of mentoring somebody. You can have a relationship with a teenager if you no longer have a relationship with their parent." And it was like, we broke up, but you're still my kid kind of
Yeah.
thing. So anyway, I called it Boy Next Door. And this is a play on words because it's not the if somebody said, "I'm going to sing a song called Boy Next Door," you're not thinking about mentoring somebody else's teenager.
Nope.
So
Yeah, you're
I kind of look for things like that in the language, surprises.
yeah, that's great. Keep everybody on their toes.
Yeah, and make them listen.
Yeah. What's the story behind your latest album or song?
Well, I told you about the cathedral song. We call it Rainbow Hue because the floor gets sprinkled with rainbow colors through the
Oh.
cathedral walls. Um, so yeah, Rainbow Hue. Oh, another one. This is a very girl thing. I watched a movie and I absolutely identified with the mom. Um, and what she was going through was a story about. Well, it was a movie called Blink. I don't know. You probably don't want to plug a movie, but it's called Blink, and it was filmed by National Geographic, so it was beautifully filmed. But
Mm.
it's parents took their children on a worldwide trip and they went for a year. And the premise was that the kids are going blind. So let's literally show them the world while they can still see it.
Yes.
And it had this profound impact on me. So, like, I saw it at 8 o'clock at night. And the next morning by noon, I had finished a song about the mom. And it was just about I'm holding his hand and he's touching these things. And I'm looking at his mind and wondering what captivates him and showing him this and showing him that. And anyway, that song was hard to write. I'm crying the whole time writing it, and then I'm crying the first 2 times I played it, and I'm going, okay, I'm gonna have to anesthetize myself a little bit here, and it's just a song. It's just a song. They may not even
Yeah.
be real people. Um, but yeah, so that's a story behind that one. That's not normal for me to grasp onto a character in a movie that hard,
Mhm.
but it happened.
Yeah. Were there any unexpected challenges making this latest album?
No, not unexpected. It was just fun because I made a solo album years ago, and um, I found a little guy. I shouldn't say little guy. He's fabulous. His name is John Inman. He's got Texas country, Texas rock roots for years, and now he's of a certain age that he went, let me just stay home and play. And his market is singer songwriters who don't have a full band. And he
Okay.
says, instead of hiring a band or paying for studio guys, come to my house. So, he has a home studio, and I will play every instrument on there for you. And we can do a song a day.
Oh, wow.
And it's a lot more economical. So I did a solo album with him probably 10 years ago. So I was used to that vibe of, let
Yeah.
me play it for you. And then he writes it down on his Big Chief tablet, and then he plays it back for me and records it and basically makes me a karaoke track. And then I jump in and sing it.
Huh.
And he does the drums, the bass, the keyboard, the guitar, everything. And he's recording it. So if he doesn't like it, he hits stop, does the line again, stop, does the line again. He doesn't just lay it out like you would at a live show. So I was used to that. And then this last year in 24, I went into another studio where we had a producer and all these session guys. And my husband was in charge of teaching the guys the songs. Okay, here's your bass part, here's your keyboard part, but not really, just kind of like, here's my part and play around me. And
Yeah.
it was so different just from my perspective of, oh, I just show up and sing and let all these creatives do what they're good at, which is what I did the first time around. But I had a lot more input because it was just two people. This time it's,
Right.
there's seven people standing around. Everybody does what they're good at and get out of their way and let them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm good at singing. So, it was good. It
Yeah.
worked for me. I don't need to play all these instruments. That's what I'm paying you guys for.
Right. So, is there a particular track that holds a special meaning for you?
Oh, it depends on the day. Um, yeah, you know, I've been married 5 years, so I still have that la 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 thing going on. So,
Yeah.
I wrote a song for him. He wrote a song for me. We wrote songs together, but we haven't really like, okay, Pat Benatar's, she's a goddess. She can do no wrong. She and Neil write songs together all the time, and they're not about each other. They could be, but they're not necessarily. So I'm having to get to that point. Like, I can write a love song that's not about him personally. It's just love song as a concept.
Right.
But before him, if I wrote a love song, I would be inspired by some guy I kind of knew and just kind of exaggerate it and blow it out of proportion and make a love song of something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird for me now, like, okay, do I want to picture, random guy at the office or, somebody's cousin that I met at a party? Do I really want to write a song to that guy?
Yeah.
Because I don't. I have a
Yeah.
guy. Why would I write to him? So it's interesting for me just to make that psychological shift. But as far as which song is more important, none of them are really about him, like my husband, so much that it's like wedding vow level. It's not, but that's always in there. We have a song called Open Hearts that says, when you realize your friend is actually more than your friend and you're an open heart and you're receptive to that concept, then, life is good. So that's kind of our song that we wrote to each other. And I wrote the lyrics. That was kind of how we were writing most of his time is I'd write the lyrics, email him and say, finish this. And I wrote it thinking the girl would sing one verse and the boy would sing one verse. And he heard me singing the entire song.
Oh.
So the lyric says, in the second verse that I expected him to sing, it says, a friend can be your perfect kind of lover because she knows when you need a helping hand. Okay, so now I'm singing it. So do I say, because she knows, or do I say, because he knows you need a helping hand?
Right.
And I kind of went back and forth at the studio. I went back and forth on my live shows because you only get one pass around. Am I going
Oh.
with female pronouns or male pronouns? Am I singing about myself in third person? Or is this just still a conceptual couple that isn't real? So
Right.
um, I ended up just saying she because that was the way I wrote it and that's the way it stuck. And that's the way I sang it before I analyzed it way too much. Um, and then the butterfly song, there's one line that the meter has always had like an extra syllable and always kind of made me not real happy. but
Yeah.
I didn't have any other way to write it. So about a month ago, now it's been on, it was recorded a year ago. It's on Spotify. It's on all the streamings. I fixed the line. So we're at a live shows and I'm leaning in like, we're going to sing it the new version or the version we're used to on autopilot. And yeah, it's been back and forth both ways. Sometimes he'll sing it one way, I'll sing it a different way. So, well, that didn't really sound pretty, but it's all good.
From that fateful meeting at a songwriter competition to building a life in music together, Cyndi's journey with Joey has been full of harmony in more ways than one. But her creative voice doesn't stop at performance. As a trained writer with a degree in creative writing, Cyndi brings a unique lyrical depth to the music of timeless ATX. Paired with Joey's background in jazz composition, their collaboration became a space where melody and message could really shine. Together, they've developed a sound rooted in storytelling, vocal interplay, and musical chemistry, with Cyndi's influences leaning to the 70s and 80s, pop and country. Let's continue our talk with Cyndi Alba. What's your most memorable performance experience?
Oh, wow. A couple months ago, I got to play on Green Hall on the stage, which is, I guess if you're not from Texas, you don't know how much of a big deal that is, because I know not all of your audience is, but it's like the oldest music stage that's still open.
Yes.
And the floors are uneven and there's no air conditioning. And, Willie Nelson has played here and everybody has played here. And I got to play there. And it was
Yay!
amazing. So the camera crew, it was a part of a showcase of female songwriters.
Yeah.
And we each were allowed 2 songs. And one of my other girlfriends was there and she had her sweetheart play with her as well. And I was like, well, I know it's a girl thing, but can my husband come up? Because we kind of like pictures of us both on this stage.
Yeah.
And so he came up and, did some lead guitars around me. And, it was very, very cool. The Green Hall was special.
Oh.
There's some other venues that I have reached out to and said, maybe I'm not reaching out to them yet, but when I'm ready, I want to reach out and hear a yes.
Yeah.
There's a couple, I really like playing listening rooms because you're not competing with the pool table. You're not competing with the bartender hollering orders or the people hollering orders to the bartender. Nobody is talking really loud at their table. So I really prefer listening rooms if you're going to actually play your originals and sing your heart out. If you're just wallpaper at a cafe, nobody cares. And you know what that is going into it and you're having a blast and you're interacting with people. I always say that my target market is people who like chicken fried steak.
Nice.
Because, they're there with their kids, their grandkids, they're drinking iced tea, and maybe they haven't draft beers, but they're there for the chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
And the music goes with it.
Very cool. How do you prepare for a live show?
I do warm-ups in the car, scales and choral warm-ups. But yeah, mostly just, if it's a venue I've never been to, I'm going to get on their website. I'm going to look around. I try not to book venues I don't eat at or go hear other bands, but sometimes it happens. I've got one coming up at the end of the month. We were just talking about a minute ago of it keeps changing what they want. Well, I should go there and listen to a band and get the vibe of the place, and then I'll know what they want.
Right.
But yeah, that's what you have to do. It's just, in this town where I live, Austin, it's very much a cover music town. There's all these music venues and all these live bands, and everybody's playing the same music. If you're a girl, you got to play Miranda Lambert. If you're a boy, you got to play, Tom Petty and Rolling Stones. Whatever. Everybody's playing the same set list. But then, if you have a 3-hour show, 1 hour of it is everybody else's also hour. And to me, that's fun because I don't do the same song the same way another girl would. And we get a request for Taylor Swift, I make Joey sing it because nobody's expecting Joey to whip out Taylor Swift lyrics. And then we get a request for Bruce Springsteen. Okay, I'll sing lead on that because nobody's expecting that.
Right.
And I can be born to run.
Yeah.
It's just so we kind of mix it up a little bit on the gender slant sometimes. And not to be political, it's just this is fun. Who ever heard of a girl singing Born to Run? Who ever heard of a boy singing Taylor Swift?
I
So
like it.
yeah, so that's what but you gotta play to the audience and work the crowd and um I intentionally put the mic as far back away from my mouth as I can so I have full range of neck motion and full range of head motion and can see all my peripherals and know who's singing along, who's smiling, who's frowning, and make mental notes. Okay, the people over there to the right really like oldies. People over to the left really want new music. So, okay, when they're ordering their food, they're not paying attention to me. Let's cater to these people.
Right.
And you just got to work it.
That's awesome. Have you had any interesting or funny fan interactions?
I've had annoying ones. No, I was playing at a pizza place years ago, and I was fronting a rock band, and it was just a little mom and pop pizza place. And at that point, I was the only girl in the band, and the boys always went outside and smoked cigarettes. So I was always sitting alone, and it was fine. I was the only girl. I didn't mind that. Y'all go smoke, y'all swap songs and swap stories, and come back and tell me how we're going to change the tempo on something because y'all just decided in the parking lot, whatever. And I was sitting there. It was a pizza place, so I always got a big pizza for us all to split. And I'm sitting there eating my slice, and some rando guy decides he's going to watch me. So he kept like sitting way too close at my table and pulled up a chair and it's like, "I'm going to watch you eat your pizza." I was like, "Okay, you're creepy, but whatever." It's time. I'm like, I'm on staff here. This is a customer. We have the customer staff relation, and he just inched in and took a bite right out of my pizza while I had it like up to my mouth, like Lady in the Tramp. And
Oh,
it was creepy. And I was just like, Dude, you can finish my pizza. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. It's creepy."
yeah.
So, there's those things that wouldn't happen if I were a man, you know? I mean, I don't know of any woman that's gonna just walk over to a man and take a hunk out of his pizza,
Right.
unless maybe I don't know. I think female groupies are a whole different different flavor, but you don't expect that at mom and pop pizza place surrounded by children on a playground.
Right.
And certainly that's not what I'm ever here for anyway. Um, so yeah, I've had a couple little creepsters like that make me think, why am I doing this? I'm like, I'm not in a bar. I'm not in a bar band. This is a fluke. This is just a weirdo who I
Yeah.
guess is tired of watching his kids on the playground. I don't know. Um,
Does he even
but
have any kids on the playground?
yeah, exactly. I don't know. Where's your pizza, dude? You need me to
Yeah.
buy you one? Um, but yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of good fun. Um, back in the rock band days, you'd walk the tip jar through the crowd. And it's like you always wanted to get some cute person to do it, some young person or a cute person or whatever. Here, go walk my tip jar. And one time I was playing actually on 6th Street in Austin, gosh, 15 years ago, probably by now. And there was nobody to walk the tip jar. It was a bunch of businessmen in suits.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I guess I got to walk it myself. So I was like, felt like I don't know, street hustler. Here, put money in my bucket. Here, put money in my bucket. No, I just told my guys, I was like, y'all need to walk it. They're like, nobody's going to tip us. We're in a room full of men. It's
Oh,
you and the waitress. And nobody's going to put money in. But if you're standing there, they might, just because
yeah.
no guy wants to look uncool to a woman.
Right.
And I went, ugh. So I was like, after that, I'm like, I'm never walking a tip jar again because that just didn't feel right. I mean,
Yeah.
it was okay. It was socially acceptable because that's what everybody does, at
Right.
least in that setting.
Yeah.
Um, so now I'm like, okay, I'm just going to play in restaurants and just keep the tip jar in front of me. And it's people know to walk up and tip the band. And if they don't know, so what? And
Yeah.
now it's all Venmo anyway. You got the little QR code next to me
Oh
on a
gosh.
little plastic sign.
Wow. How times have changed.
Yes, times have changed.
Let's see. Speaking of which, how has the
Yes.
music industry changed
I
since
was
you
just thinking
started?
that same thing. That's a great segue. Um, the main thing was, 10 years ago, we printed CDs and we sold CDs at our shows. And now it's like we did this EP release and I actually have a CD burner on my laptop. So I burned them myself and I put stickers on and, the little circles. And, I went to the printing place and said, print these on these stickers for me so I could stick them on these little circles. Um, I made my own CDs, which I would never do back then because then you wanted, shrink wrapped and barcoded and the little jewel cases, and I just did it all myself on the no frills version. And it took an afternoon, but I printed 100 CDs and put them in little boxes.
Wow.
And So it's like, okay, how long are these going to last me? And we put a little sign up at our shows that says, we just put everything because it's just for tips anyway, because nobody's really going to buy a CD, and it's only got 3 songs on it, so I'd feel bad about charging. So next to the tip jar, it's like, if you tip, take a free CD if you're above the age of 30. If you're between, or whatever the age, I think above the age of 40. If you're between 30 and 40, here's a flash drive. Take a flash drive with our music on it. If you're below the age of 30, just stream it. It's free. And so people come up, we say, "Do you have a CD?" Now I'll hand them, I'll have the flash drive and the CD. "Do you have a CD player, or would you rather play it on one of these?" And I'll show them the flash drive, and they're like, "I don't know what to do with that." I said, "Well, then you probably know what to do with the CD. So let me
Yeah.
just give you the CD." And yeah, but so many people don't have players anymore.
Yeah, I know. I still have my CDs from whenever I was growing up.
Oh
I
yeah.
still have some cassettes.
Okay,
Like
well, now those I got rid of all mine, but I definitely kept the CDs. Yeah.
I kept them just for nostalgia. It was like, that's the B-52s. Come on. What advice would you give to emerging artists?
I would tell them just practice and perfect the craft. You know, I had a little girl that used to come to my shows. I used to do a lot of solo shows, and she would come. Her mom would bring her. She was probably 12, 13 at the time. And she's like, "Tell me what I need to do." And I'm like, "You need to practice." And then she started booking shows. And I would say she was probably 16 or 17. And I went to one of her shows, and she's gorgeous, gorgeous little teenage girl. She had on the shortest shorts, and she was sitting on this bar stool, and all you could see were her legs. And she sounded great, but all you could see were her legs, and it was distracting.
Ah,
And I went up to her and I'm like, "Honey, I love you. And I'm not your mom, so I don't really have permission to tell you this, but wear more clothes on stage because everybody's going to remember your legs and nobody's going to remember your music."
mm,
And so I went up and also told her mom, I said, "Just so you'll know, I might have stepped on some toes. She might hate me, but back me up on this if she ever asks you, because you want to be remembered for your voice. You don't want to be remembered for your legs
right,
or your cleavage or, something." But at the same time, they see you before they hear you.
right.
So when you walk on stage, they already have this preconceived idea of what you're going to sound like. And when you're beautiful, they expect you to sound beautiful. So, it's a fine line of dance of what's appropriate. And this little girl since has gotten married, and she plays shows fully clothed, and she's still stunningly beautiful. And I think she even has a couple kids now, stunningly beautiful, but she wears longer pants.
Yeah,
And you don't have to do that. And I watch the
yeah,
AMAs and I watch all these shows and I'm thinking, why are you dressed this way? Why are you wearing stilettos on stage? There's no reason to do that.
yeah.
I went to see. I'm a concert person. I'm concerts all the time. That's where all my money goes. Um, I went to see some '80s reviews. It was Simply Minds and Soft Cell and Modern English
Oh,
last
wow.
week, and Simple Minds brought up a girl background singer who's, I would say, in her 50s, 40s or 50s. She had on 4-inch heels. And I'm thinking there is no way that's comfortable.
Uh-uh.
And she's so beautiful and she's the backup singer. So she's carrying this great, huge sound that only backup singers can pull off because, I mean, the lead singer's doing the melody and she's carrying this whole soaring sound. And it's just, this wall of sound, as they say. And she's up there in stiletto heels. I was just like, she's the pro. I'm just sitting in the audience going, "Man, she's great." But at the same time, I'm like, I'm wearing sneakers, baby, or at least flat loafers or ballet flats, something. Uh,
Yeah,
no. So that would say wear comfortable shoes and be fully clothed and make your music speak for itself.
there you go. What's something about the music industry most people don't realize?
I'm not in the music industry per se enough to really know. I mean, because I do live shows all the time and it's me in the audience and giving away CDs. But um, there's no money in it. People think that people do it for fame and fortune, and it's not. I can hustle and play every weekend and probably net less than 10,000 a year, just as a live music performer in a town where there's lots of live music.
Right.
And 10,000 a year is not going to pay your mortgage.
Nope.
So you got to do it for the love. You don't do it for money. You don't do it for fame. You don't do it for attention. I mean, because a lot of times they're there for the chicken fried steak, and you're the wallpaper.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of hotel lobbies, and I love hotel lobbies because it's nothing but tourists, and they're
Yeah.
all having a good time. And there's weddings, and there's proms, and there's all these people are all fancy and dressed up, and hey, what are you dressed up for? And let me congratulate you on your event and graduation. I love hotel lobbies,
Yeah.
but they are not there for you. They won't remember you. And a lot of times there'll be engagements, and you'll be in the background singing, and they'll be making a video, and you're like, I know I'm in their video. They're videoing their life, but I'm singing in their video. So when they
Yeah.
watch this video in 20 years, they'll wonder who that girl is singing in the background. So if it's something monumentous like a proposal or something, I'll go up to them when I'm on break and say, "Here's my card. I'm the one singing in the background. So stick this in your scrapbook. So
Yeah.
when somebody ever says, 'Did you meet that girl?' Yes, I met that girl. Here's her name." Not because I'm important, but because if it was my wedding video or my some important moment in my life, I'd want to know what the background noise was about.
Yeah.
And if it's some girl, and I would try to time it too. I used to play on the Riverwalk a lot, and there'd always be all these proposals and all these brides taking their wedding pictures and all this stuff. And I'd always try to do like, oh, let's see, here comes a bride walking through the sidewalk, who picking up her dress, not dragging it, gonna go pose by the river. I'd start doing wedding songs. Oh, let's
Oh,
do a love song for the bride,
help
and
her get in the zone.
yeah, exactly. And I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I play at a winery. I'm on rotation at a winery, and a lot of times in the vineyard, underneath all the grape plants and stuff, there will be weddings, and it's on a hill. The stage is on a hill, and then I know the music is going downhill, and they can hear me during their service. And I try to be real cognizant of, okay, we're not going to do Rolling Stones right now. We're not going to do, something crazy right now. We're not going to do a breakup song right now. Let's only
Right.
do happy love songs and do for the next 15 minutes. And then when they're walking around, we'll go back to our normal set list.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
It's just because I wouldn't want that in my wedding.
No.
I mean, they're
No.
paying for some violinist, but I'm probably drowning them out because they didn't do a site survey first.
Oh, yeah, the details.
Yeah.
That thoughtful blend of influences is a big part of what makes Timeless ATX stand out. But beyond the studio and songwriting sessions, Cyndi thrives in the energy of live performance, where every show brings something new. Whether it's an intimate listening room or a lively night on the patio, Cyndi knows how to read a crowd and make every set feel personal. From playful stump the band requests to showcasing original songs, Timeless ATX adapts to the environment, sometimes as a duo, other times as a full band with friends in tow. No matter the setup, Cyndi's vocals and stage presence make each performance something special. So here's some fun questions to
Okay.
wrap us up a little.
Sure.
If you weren't a musician, what would you be doing?
When I was young, I always thought I'd be a dancer. I was like, am I going to be a dancer who sings, or am I going to be a singer who also dances? And this was back before MTV. So, I didn't know that dancers and singers were, you had to do both.
Hmm.
Um, but then, I got to be a teenager and realized I'm not built like a dancer. I was studying ballet and I was studying classical dance and things, and those girls are scrawny.
Yeah.
And I got to be a teenager and went, I'm not going to grow up and be scrawny. I don't have that in me to be that lithe, svelte, muscular, thin. So I went, well, there went the dance scholarship if it ever existed. It doesn't exist now. But
Yeah.
no, I would be a writer. I would probably I had a side hustle last year of writing music reviews for an online magazine.
Oh, cool.
It was really cool. It was like, okay, here's what I hear in this song, and here's what I hear in this other song. And then from that, I had a blog for a little bit called Learning to Listen. It was just for regular folks, like when you're driving down the road and you're listening to a song, here's what to listen for. So you can like know why you like a song, what it does that
Oh.
musically, what it does sonically, if the lyrics match the rhythm or don't, what helps you like a song that you like.
Oh, that's
So that was
fascinating.
fun. I would
Yeah.
be a writer of some sort.
Yeah. Huh. Do you still have that blog? That'd be interesting to read.
It was part of the magazine that I was freelancing with,
Uh-huh.
and when they shut it down, they lost all
Oh.
stuff. So it's
Yeah.
still in my Word files in my laptop.
Oh,
I keep
that's
thinking I'm
good.
going to start it up on Substack, but there's so much stuff on Substack, no one would ever find me.
Oh.
So,
Blogger not a thing anymore?
nah, I mean it is, but then everybody has to find you. Substack is
Uh,
really cool if you're not familiar with it. It's
uh-uh.
basically like a YouTube for bloggers. There's no
Huh.
videos. It's just like if you're Stephen King and you're working on a novel, you can throw it on Substack and say, "Hey fans, pay me $20 and read the rest of it." Or you can say, "Hey fans, what do you think of this plot twist?"
Mm-hmm.
And you get public feedback while you're in the developmental stages of your works.
Oh,
So
very
a lot of
cool.
pro writers are on there, sounding using the public as a sounding board.
Wow. Huh.
Um, but yeah, and it's also cool. Yeah, there's still blogs, but I just scroll through Substack. It knows what I like to read, and I read their stuff. A lot of
Yeah.
songwriters are on there, like I'm working on this song. Yeah, so it's cool.
What's a surprising fact about you that fans might not know?
Oh, I don't know. I'm so open and so transparent. I tell all my business everywhere.
I do too.
Um, I have a day job, and I'm not like advertising my day job, but I have a day job because again, we've established that if you like having your bills paid, you need a day job. Um, at this level, because Whitney Houston types don't exist anymore from where
Mm,
I sit. Um, what would be? I mean, I'm in a choir and I'm always recruiting for people. It's a city choir, and I'm always recruiting my neighbors. And you're a good singer. Come be in my choir with me, because being in a choir just like totally helps you develop your ear for harmony and blending with other voices and stage presence and breathing. And it helped me so much as a soloist just to learn what to do in a group. So I'm always, all these karaoke people. I'm like, hey, you need to be in a choir. You know how much better you would be. You're good
yeah.
now, but think how much better you'd be. So, but I'm open about that. That's not, nobody would be surprised to hear that me recruiting. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, okay. I have two Facebook pages. One of them is an absolutely fake name nobody would ever find unless I gave it to them. I found it like in the Scrabble dictionary kind of fake name. And on there, I put pictures of my dog and pictures of my cat and like goofy things you would not that a venue or a potential venue I want to play at doesn't need to see that, but it's not that it's just clutter. I put all my
Right.
clutter on that made up name page. And then on the Cyndi Alba page, it's pictures of me on stage. It's pictures of maybe a song I'm working on. It's something that will help me get a gig.
Right.
Whereas this
Yeah.
other one is just fluff. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's also going backward. That's what I would advise a young person to do is watch yourself on social media. Don't say anything political. Don't, praise God while you're holding a beer. Don't do anything contradictory. Establish your persona and only put that persona out there.
Yeah. Yeah. What's currently on your playlist?
Ooh, Wilder Blue. Check them out if you don't know them. Do you know them?
No.
You need to know them. It's five guys, probably three of which could be frontmen. Um, and I would say they're like if the Eagles met in Texas in the 90s. So they got all those cool harmonies and all those cool sounds, but they're Texans, and it, check them out. Wilder Blue. They're my favorite right now. I'm also listening to Cam. She
Okay.
was the one that helped Beyonce with Cowboy Carter.
Okay.
Um, I tend to lean in toward folk. I listen to a lot of First Aid Kit. They're like a
Heard of them.
female Simon and Garfunkel, but they're sisters.
Yeah, aren't
But
they
that
from
that vibe,
Sweden?
yes, they
Yes,
are
I
so
love that.
cute. Yeah, I saw them last time they were in the U.S. and I was just like, oh, I love these girls.
Eee.
I just want to take them home.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm probably their mother's age, but yeah. So I listen to a lot of harmony type songs and bands just to get feels for different chordal structures and different tonal sonic kind of things. And plus I just enjoy it. I enjoy following that one voice through the song. Ago, he's higher than him there, but then he's lower than him, and then these guys switched around. But I like following that one voice through the chorus, and then and plus just the whole nature of creative music. How can there be that many more songs that say something that's never been said?
Right.
But they find it.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
And all the different melodies, it's like, why aren't they repeating things? I know that there was a phase where everybody was just like buying the rights to all these other songs
Yeah.
so they could redo it, but it's just amazing how many combinations there still are available.
Yeah. And I have a friend who writes with AI, and he'll play me stuff, and I'm thinking, how did a human not write that?
Yeah.
But then it's so predictable, and you can tell exactly what the next line's going to sound like.
Mhm.
But when it's the Wilder Blue, you think you know what the next line's going to sound like, and they flip and do a weird harmony, and you're like, "Whoa, I didn't see that coming."
Yeah.
Um, it's cool. There's a lot of really cool music out there, and young
That's
people are still doing it.
yeah, that's exciting. I hope it never goes away. I hope
It
AI never
won't.
takes that away.
No, it will. There will always be creatives.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of chef TVs, and I'm thinking, how many versions can you make chicken thighs?
Right.
But there you go. There's
Yeah.
You hand somebody chicken thighs, and you'll get 20 different meals.
Yeah.
Um, so it's the same thing. Creatives will always exist.
Yeah. What can fans expect next from you?
I hope we get to record an album soon, but we haven't really been prioritizing it. We've been working mostly on our stage stuff. Um, we've got a Woodstock show coming up, so we had to learn music for it. So somebody requested, they want three bands, and we're one of the three they picked, to do only songs from Woodstock. So we
Oh,
have to do one
fun.
hour set of only songs from Woodstock, and we're getting with the other two bands and going, what songs are you doing? What songs are you doing? Because we don't want to
Right.
all do the same stuff.
Right.
So I'm learning Grace Slick music and Janis Joplin music. And
Oh,
I know Janis Joplin from the radio, but I don't know the second verse to Piece of My Heart. I never needed to.
yeah.
So it's fun to just do something different. So since we're doing it for one show, we're going to work it in everywhere else. Anytime we're doing a show this weekend, and we were talking in the car, hey, let's do the Jefferson Airplane stuff at this show. Yeah, that'll be fun. So yeah, it's just more venues, more music. We will never have the same set list at a show. If it's a 3 hour show, if it's a 2 hour show, it will never be the same 3 or 2 hours that you've ever heard previously.
Oh, wow.
I mean, even though it's a cover band, we call ourselves timeless because we can pick music from any decade. So
Right.
we do everything from, Roy Orbison, Sam Cooke, Beatles, up through Miranda Lambert. And I try not to do Taylor Swift because there's so much of it. Like,
Mm.
where would you go? But we do Chris Stapleton, we do Jason Isbell. Um, there's a lot of folksy kind of country that's not so twangy, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be twangy because then you're limiting your audience. But
Right.
if you sound like James Taylor, everybody loves James Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
So just do new music and make it sound like James Taylor or
Yeah.
Jackson Brown. Everybody loves Jackson Brown.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of the way I lean anyway, is that vibe. So
Yeah.
it gets versatile. It hotel lobby or a steakhouse or, you know, one of these outdoor, festival type vibes. So that's what they can look forward to, is hearing songs they forgot they knew and forgot they loved, and seeing how we're going to make it sound.
Ooh, I love that. Where's the best place for people to follow you on your journey?
Website, timelessatx.com. Um, Facebook, timelessatx. And we've got an Insta, but I'm not real good about putting stuff on it. He and I both have solo pages, so you can find us there. Cyndi Alba Singer. That's on Insta and on Facebook.
At the heart of Timeless ATX is a genuine love for connection through lyrics, through harmony, and through the shared experience of live music. Cyndi Alba continues to shape that mission with her voice, her writing, and her presence on stage. Whether you're catching a weekend set in Austin or discovering their originals for the first time, one thing's clear. With Cyndi Alba at the mic, the music truly is timeless.